Alright, we're on the play. That looks like we're playing Rug Delver. We are, of course, playing Rug Delver. Is this a keep? It's kind of a mulligan because that second Hooting Mandrills isn't coming down for a while, but we've got some interaction and fetch lands to feed it. I think this is perfectly adequate. Our opponent going to 6 will probably make this game slightly easier than if they had 7 cards. That's a pretty useless statement on my part, but it is true. I don't know if this hand will get there. And 3 lands, if there was a 4th land, I think it's just straight bad. Even if the second Mandrills becomes a land. But I don't think it's too bad at 3 lands. We're looking at a turn 3 Hooting Mandrills with turn 1 Bolt and turn 2 Leak. Assuming we're going up against a deck that can relatively easily be interacted with. Otherwise, it's probably just a turn 3 Hooting Mandrills with some disappointing interaction stranded in our hand. Our opponent plays a black-red deck. Black Leaf Cliffs means Death's Shadow is probably unlikely. Excuse me. Normally, Living End doesn't cycle right away in main phase, but hey, it is Living End. That makes this hand a little worse. Wow. Holy. I guess they have a high density of cyclers. I shouldn't be surprised that they had 3 right off the bat. We're going to get Breeding Pool, Stomping Ground Island, I believe. Our life total isn't going to be extraordinarily relevant. And, well, hopefully they go for a very fast Living End and then we counter it. And they have pretty much nothing left in the tank. That's basically what we're going for here. Because if they slow roll this and play around counter magic, we could be in trouble. We could be in serious trouble. The double Street Wraith is going to at least help us as far as clocking goes, but they have some good blockers there. Deadshot Minotaur does 3 damage to target creature with flying, so Insectile Aberration will not be safe from that. Just 15, okay. No green mana yet. Maybe they have a forest or something in hand. Pale Recluse, 4/5. Oh, they're getting a forest. That's why. Huh. It's kind of weird that the green-white card only cycles for a forest. We are going to Tarfire here. If we shock, we Tarfire, we fetch. I don't think we can actually get enough cards in the bin to play a Hooting Mandrills with Mana Leak up. Unless we drew a Gataxian Probe there. But that's a little unlikely. I think we just have to pass here. Which is extraordinarily unfortunate. However, we still have a chance, guys. We still have a chance. I don't like slamming Hooting Mandrills there without counters up, because then our opponent Living Ends. We have 0 creatures. They have a minimum of 4, and they all have 3 or more power. That's a Fulminator Mage. That seems a little rude. It's possible we actually should have countered that so that next turn we can have stuff up, Hoots plus Leak, but we're just going to bolt their face. Oh, I clicked cancel. Bolt face. They fulminate. Targeting Breeding Pool. That's okay. That makes me want to get a basic island. Actually, we're not even going to fetch yet. Hopefully we draw the basic island. Hey! Hashtag get there. Shock. Hoots. Okay, this is a 3-turn clock with 2 mana leaks up. seems decent. Thanks to that bolt and fulminator taking out our breeding pool, we didn't even have to fetch yet. Our shock play is pretty telling though, so I imagine they are going to play around some serious counters. Most people don't just shock for the fun of it. Or maybe they think that we're bluffing that they have a counter and that we want them to not play a living end. Maybe they'll level up themselves. That'd be funny. There's a demonic dread. That's going to resolve. We don't want to interact with that. Cancel that skip. I don't want to see any of that kind of stuff. Do we just get a basic here? I think a basic is fine. Just an island. Save the life total a little bit. Do we want double green? I'd rather have double blue. Let's mana leak a living end. Hopefully they don't have Simian Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide. Hoots is not going to be able to block this turn. Quite terrifying. I kid, of course. Spell Snare is going to be leaving the deck after this game because that is hot garbage here. Wow. Do they? No, they don't. They do not have a 2-mana spell. Disrupting Shoal also should go. What is this? Avalanche Riders. Ooh, spicy. They tapped out. I think we just go for the kill. There's no need to give them the ability to take out a land and then chump Hoots so that they get an extra turn out of that. And we're down a mana. That seems silly. They just straight up die. Nice. Okay. Cards that are bad. Spell Snare. Disrupting Shoal. Shoal gets at least some points because for blue you can counter a living end. But that seems a little bad given that that's the only... Well, I guess it being the only card that Shoal counters is kind of irrelevant because that is plan A and B to living end. Plan, like, I don't know, U is to hardcast Draft Chaff, but plans A through T are resolve a living end. Those are arbitrary letters, of course. I don't think we want Disrupting Shoal. It just seems they have so many ways to interact with counters. So many. And you need exactly blue for it to even be castable. I think it's bad. At least the one. Maybe if I had more, I'd trim a few and leave a couple because we probably don't have a crap ton of cards that we want to board in. But as is, without having so many close to dead-ish cards in our deck, I don't think I want it. Vapor Snag and Simic Charm seem pretty loose. This isn't Dredge where they have to at least go through some amount of hoops to get cards into their graveyard from their hand. If we put something back in their hand, they can just cycle again. Let's trim a couple bolts. Like we do. We have a minute, 55 cards in our library. Oh geez, Shoal might be coming back. I don't think they run any enchantments or artifacts, unless you count Architects of Will, but don't think we want a dedicated answer to that. Reveler seems bad. Traverse I don't want. We are upping our threat density via Huntmaster because our plan U is to Thought Scour ourselves and hope to mill something good. Maybe we don't want that many Huntmasters. I think we actually have to run this Shoal, because we don't have that many cards here. And these bolts. Oh, geez. Maybe we should have Graveyard Hate. Don't want it, don't want it. Blood Moon just seems awful. Explosives is bad. Traverses. We're going to keep Simic Charm. We have 10 seconds to choose a card. Wow, that feels horrible. We're going to take a Traverse the Ulvenwald. If this matchup becomes even slightly prevalent, we're going to revisit that sideboard, because that felt absolutely awful. This hand looks like Fetch Breeding Pool. 1 enables Disrupting Shoal. to get the fetch out of our hand for these Serum Visions. We're going to keep. Our clock is not in danger, so I don't mind thinking about the hand for an extra second before clicking that button. They're at 5 cards. That makes me a little disappointed, because games when you're at 5 cards traditionally go less interestingly than games where you have more cards. Monstrous Carabid is just a vanilla cycler, which is kind of an oxymoron because vanilla cards don't cycle. But that's a Huntmaster. Don't know if I actually wanted those Huntmasters, but a lot of our sideboard looks like trash in this matchup, so that land looks pretty good. That bolt looks a lot less good. Let's go to end step. Maybe they boarded in a 1-mana spell that we can shoal. Maybe. I highly doubt it, but I mean, we don't have to click to your turn. Let's just click to your turn. I am willing to forego any percentage points that we would otherwise gain from our opponent boarding in 1-mana spells in their living end deck. Especially when it means that we don't have to click through priority. Do we want to use this fetch? That is a good question, folks. I don't think we do. I think we're gonna, but then we don't actually have the guaranteed Delver Scry. We're gonna play the fetch and cast a Delver of Secrets. This could go extremely badly because we do not have counter magic up. Besides the fact that they have a decent chance of interacting with said counter magic. That's a Fulminator Mage, so that's not the end of the world. Them being able to take out a land is highly unfortunate. If I fetch for a Steam Vents right now, we can Tarfire it and have Shoal up through a Fulminator. So I think we're going to do that, because this game looks to be absolutely awful for us if our opponent has a single interact with counter magic card. So let's do our thing. Get that Fulminator out of here. Actually, do we even want to do that? Okay, there you go. He's targeting Steam Vents. Well, I'm going to Tarfire you now, because it's basically free. So maybe Huntmaster is pretty bad here. Well, it's a land. I think we just play it. I kind of want to hold up Disrupting Shoal. It's really likely that they're able to Living End quite soon, and if they do, we're going to be in trouble. Huntmaster is going to be really hard to play. If Fulminator comes back, that's a violent outburst. Cancel some skips. Let's see a Living End be put on the stack. Here we go. Can they interact with it? If they can, we probably just fall over dead. We're going to get an island. Shoal. No, we don't. X is 0. That card. Pay this. Do they have the redirection? They don't. They don't have the redirection. Their creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn. Not going to reveal that, but we're probably just going to slam it. It's a 5/6. We'll start off with a Serum Visions. Snapcaster Mage. We have Lightning Bolt in our graveyard, or at least Tarfire. I think we have Tarfire. Snap Disrupting Shoal is really far away. I don't want these. I don't want these. I do want to Shock for this, play this, hope they don't have another Living End in hand, because if they do, once again, we're basically going to fall over dead. We'll be able to cast a Hooting Mandrills, which will then trade with a Monstrous Carabid. So that's kind of sort of okay, maybe. It's not the end of the world. We'll just be on a 2-turn clock. They tapped a lot of mana. That was weird. They scooped. I guess they didn't have it, guys. there you go. So, that is kind of sort of how you play against Living End. I don't know if Disrupting Shoal should be in the deck post board. That game, it was good. I think maybe it is just fine, but holding up blue-blue while trying to put on pressure, because if you don't pressure them, you're just going to fall over dead at some point. I don't know if you can afford to hold that up, but I guess we like holding up Mana Leak in the matchup, so maybe you just have to fetch aggressively for those blue shocks. That's probably it. We'll revisit the sideboard if that deck becomes prominent in the meta, because that sideboarding felt awful. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Bye.